they say that people like to know who they're buying their things from. So I thought I would give you a little bit of a background of our family. So I grew up with 3 older brothers, only girl, which, you save the best for last is what I always would say. And so would my mom. She'd agree with that. I grew up in town, running all over the place, from one end to the other. My husband, he grew up in a family of 8, 6 boys, 2 girls. Really feel for his mom. They lived in the country and, had large gardens. They played basketball, whatever, and they had a big area and just ran around all over the place, rode their bikes. They had a great family. They're close. I love them all, and I have wonderful sister-in-laws, so that's nice. And my husband and I, we met each other when I was in high school. He had already graduated. So we were actually cruising. And if anybody knows what that is when you drive, before gas, when gas was actually affordable, we would drive our cars through town, up and down, and you'd meet people from other schools or just, hang out with friends and things like that. Kept us out of trouble until other people started doing stupid stuff, and that ended. Anyway, we dated for a couple years and then got married in 1981, and we've been married, we'll be 44 years in October, which is amazing for pretty much anybody nowadays. And we have built 3 houses together. Luckily, our brothers, his brothers are very handy, and his dad, and they all were able to help us. So we've done them all ourselves, pretty much with their help and a little help from other people. Very blessed to have them. And people are like, "You've built 3 houses together?" I'm like, "Yeah." And they're like, "And you're still married?" I'm like, "Yeah, that's pretty amazing." And they're like, "Yeah, I can't believe it." So he's like, "We can't even pick title out together without wanting to get divorced." And I'm like, "Well, it's a process." So after the second house we built was a log house. That's when we had been trying to have a baby for several years. We've tried, all the things that you do when you're trying to do that, ups and downs and everything. And through a private adoption, by what I pretty much call a miracle, from a friend of a friend, and they knew that we were, wanting to have a family, and we were able to adopt our son, Travis. Now, we adopted him in August. I found out 2 weeks later that I was pregnant with Courtney. So she came along in April. So they were exactly 8 months and 1 day apart. And I would tell people, "Oh yeah, they were full term," and they would look at me and they're like, "You had them when you were pregnant?" I'm like, these are the people that definitely did not pay attention in health class. No, that's not possible. I was like, "Yeah, she was a twin and she just decided to stay in for an extra 8 months." Really? Come on. Here's, as Bill Engel would say, "Here's your sign." So anyway, we, many years of saddle club, travel volleyball, go-kart racing. We lived in the country too. We had our cousins nearby and friends, and they were, mini bikes, 4-wheelers, horses, everything. I think they had a pretty good time just running around, getting in trouble, and riding horses back and forth through the fields. And so we did that for quite a few years. And then along came our grandchildren, Sarah, which you probably have seen in some of the YouTube videos. She's 10, all redhead, crazy, never shuts up from the morning she wakes up until she goes to bed. So she keeps us young, I guess, and a little bit crazy, but that's okay. Love her to death. She's a very compassionate and loving little girl. And then we have Quincy, who is a 3-year-old little boy who has no fear. He likes to jump, tumble, everything. Loves cars. He loves Spider-Man right now, and the cars, whatever that is, Lightning McQueen. Those are his main things going on right now. And he lives farther away, so we get to FaceTime with him pretty much every night with my daughter. So that's nice. It kind of keeps him close. Loves his papa. Loves the tractors. And the red buggy, as he calls it. It's a little dune buggy that we fly around in. And we do a lot of camping. We have friends that we met in Saddle Club. But, we call the Wedgie group, which that'll take a while to explain. I don't even know if I can remember anymore, but that's, kind of what we go by. And we've known them since Saddle Club, so it's over 20 years. We have a great time. We get together. We go to different places, check out new restaurants. There's a firehouse that was made into a restaurant where there might have been a little pole dancing, but we're not going to talk about that. While you're there, you might as well try it. And anyway, that's where we find a lot of our stuff that we like to repurpose and find. We usually run into town, and there's always some kind of sidewalk sale, or like a kind of like a Goodwill or something like that, or maybe a garage sale or something along the side of the road. We're like, hey, stop, see what we can find. So that's kind of where we get a lot of our stuff. And that's how the hard maple and the walnut one came along. Those were two fish tanks that we found and brought those home. We've had bottoms of tables that we'll take the legs and redo. My husband likes to turn the legs too on the lathe, so he'll do some things like that. But he's made some really beautiful charcuterie boards and things like that, and other end tables and coffee tables from other people. He does a great job. And while we were camping, we have a good time. We have a friend we call Deb, who seems to always come up with some saying, and it cracks us up. We call them Debisms now. So yeah, so she was. This is an example. She wanted to get a coffee table, so she said, "Well, I really like hardwood, but I like it soft too. Maybe longer." And we're like, we're all just dying, and she can't figure out why. This is the reason. Usually, either have to try to explain it to her, which sometimes works and sometimes doesn't. But we get a kick out of it. So hopefully that's not too inappropriate for some people, but that's just kind of how we roll. So anyway, that's how we kind of come about our creations, and then we kind of try to figure out what we can make out of them. And we enjoy that. Now that he's retired last year, and everybody's like, hey, instead of making everything for everybody and, giving it away, why don't we try making, while you're retired, why don't you just try making stuff? And he bought his own sawmill, so our barn is full of wood. I don't know how he's ever going to make everything out of there, so if you need wood, let us know. We've got it. So he retired, and he said, why not? And I'm going to retire, hopefully, in the next couple of months, or I'm part-time now. I'm kind of going to go down to what we call PRN. I work in the medical field in the operating room, where it's nice and cold, so I'm kind of glad to get out of that. I wear like a heater down my shirt, so I try to stay warm, hey, whatever works, because it is freezing in there. So we tried to start a website. I am like kind of good on computers, but pretty much just good enough to make things a problem. He has nothing. He knows how to turn them on and turn them off, basically. So it's gonna be a project for us. So, but we I'm struggling through, working on it. I have Michelle's courses. Michelle Cunningham, she is crazy, little unicorn. I want to call her a little unicorn lady because she's obsessed with unicorns. But that's okay. It's a good thing. And I'm got some of her courses. She explains things great. I'm very happy, and I hope just watching her courses, and it seems like her staff and support staff's pretty great. So if you guys are struggling with something and you have you need help, I definitely say try her, Michelle Cunningham. She is fantastic. So I hope got a little bit of glimpse into our life. And like Sarah said, like, follow, and subscribe. And I got it right this time. Thanks a lot, guys. And as she would say, peace out.